Hey there, I'm Zachary Beach, CEO, Smart Real Estate Coach. Welcome to another Deal Structure Sunday. I have an amazing guest. This is actually one of his first deals, and this deal is out of the Bay Area. I know. Everybody tells you you can't do creative financing in the Bay Area. If this is the first time you've ever been on our YouTube videos and have seen a Deal Structure Sunday week after week after week, we have Deal Structure Sundays where we actually go through either a very specific deal or a lesson that we have learned in these real estate deals. We bring on one of our current members of our community. They are known as associates. These are the people that we buy and sell real estate with in their neck of the woods and help them put deals inside their portfolio. So throughout this Deal Structure Sunday this week, we're going to be diving into the Bay Area of a really great property. But first, before we actually dive into that property, I want to go ahead and introduce an amazing guest with us here today, Ruchit. Ruchit, what is going on today, my man? How are you?
Zach, yeah, it's going good. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, I'm excited.
Not everyone gets invited on this or on this YouTube video. Not everyone gets invited. In order for you to be on this, you have to do something very special. And that is you got to do a creative financing real estate deal or be in the midst of doing one. I know the deal that we're going to talk about here today is one you just put under agreement, and we'll talk about how you're going to go ahead and exit out of it. We'll have projections as far as how much profit you can potentially make as well. But before we do that, before we actually give away all the sauce right now on how you got this deal, how you structured it, Ruchit, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us like what your current position is as far as work, and you got an amazing journey. I mean, and yes. I won't be the one to tell it. You tell us about your journey, like where you were, just a short couple years ago.
Yes. So I'll keep it very brief. I will be going fast forward. 6 years ago, came to America with 2 bags, right? 4 years ago, started making money, and I was always like, okay, how can I make more? And tried whatever I could try from the internet. And after losing every money, every credit I have, all I could do was no money, no credit. And then, like I said, I watched every podcast about money under the rock and came across Brian O'Neill and Chris Prefontaine podcast with some other companies. And like many people, it didn't make sense. All the system, 3 paydays, it was overwhelming. But just kept coming across Brian and Chris every few weeks and just kept watching it. And after, I think, 4 months maybe, I gave a call. And then on the day of Christmas, Steve Murray gave me a call saying, hey, I know you've been asking a lot of questions. Why don't you just sign up and use all that hustling to real work and make some money? And I was like, this guy calling me on a Christmas day, let's go with this, know? So basically on the day of New Year or something, I signed up. So it's been, this year has been all about Wicked Smart.
I love it. If you don't know some of our community members, he was talking about number one, our founder, Chris Prefontaine, who started this company about 10 years ago, came out of the crash of 2008. And here we are today doing real estate deals all across the country from the exact methods that he introduced to so many of us. 2 is Brian O'Neill, who Brian is one of our, at this moment in time, he's one of our community members, Wicked Smart community member, and also a coach, teaching the highest level people. And then also he mentioned Steve Murray, who's also one of our highest level coaches here in community member. And the interesting part about each and every one of those, and the reason why our community members are reaching out to people like yourself, Ruchit, is because they started in the exact same spot that you did, which was, I'm trying to figure out a way to change my life. I'm skeptical about all these different people that are telling me that they can change my life. I'm skeptical about the different strategies. And can you actually buy real estate without cash, without credit, without going to banks, and actually create a business, a viable business out of this? So they're more than willing to kind of break through the noise and pick up their cell phone and give you a call, which I don't see that in any other type of community. But Ruchit, you said this. You said 6 years ago, you came to this country with a backpack. I remember you were telling me at the last event, right? So you got I would imagine not too much money to your name, right? If you came over in a backpack, if you had a lot of money, you probably came over on your own private jet.
Yeah.
And then you're currently in the tech space, correct? Is that what it is? Maybe you can expand on that.
Yeah, that is correct. I mean, I won't go much into the money part, Don't want to give all the sad vibe. But yeah, first few months I was skipping lunch every other day. As a 22-year-old, not supposed to do that. Your body is growing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my first quarter in America, and my English was completely off. I didn't grew up in an English medium school, so it was different world
Yeah.
altogether. First couple years, but yes, very traditional parents. So they force you to become engineer, doctor, or lawyer. So that's what I became. Just kept studying, studied mechanical engineering. Took a while to find a job, but came to California 4 years ago because somebody gave me internship. I'm still there, have a full-time job, love these people. And it's just that you are relying on one income, one employer, one visa policy, and anything can be taken away from you like this, right? So any limited time I have here or resources, I have to maximize. And what's better than betting on myself, right? And yeah, man, just spend months and years trying things and figuring out, and eventually landed with you guys.
What an inspirational story. I absolutely love it. So what made you then choose to get involved in real estate? I mean, if somebody's watching, this YouTube video, they're sitting there thinking, all right, well, I could invest in stocks, real estate, businesses, you name it. Plus, and then you chop up real estate into many other different ones. So what made you end up jumping into creative financing in this space?
Yes, so how I landed is different, but for a new person, answer is very simple. What thing has made most amount of millionaires in the world or America or anywhere? Well, answer is real estate. It's very simple, right? And while you're doing other things, you realize stocks or whatever or other business, so much is out of your control and so much can be replaced by technology. But the way human lives today or in a caveman time, still kind of same, plus you control the house completely. So there's no brainer. Yeah.
Love it. Valid points. All right. Amazing. Right. So Ruchit then jumps in, working with our community, working with our coaches, looking for creative financing real estate deals here in, or say there, I'm on the other side of the world, in the Bay Area. Let's walk through this particular deal that we're going to show here in just a second. As I pull this up, why don't you walk us through where you found the deal, and then once you found the deal, like what the seller's motivation was, and let's work through, because most importantly, by the time somebody's done watching this YouTube video, I want them to be able to understand where to find deals, how to communicate,
Yes.
and how to structure them as well. So go ahead and jump in.
Yes, perfect. So our standard lead generation website, My Plus Leads, this came out as FSBO. And while calling, I click on the link, and turned out the guy was marketing as selling, renting, rent to own, everything. Okay. So on a phone, he said he was trying to flip a house, but we all know what happened last 12 months. Price are not going up like they always used to, and interest rate just went 3 to 7%. So any flipper in last 12 months are struggling. He's one of that guy. So he was willing to do anything to get out or pocket some cash. So the money pit he has on a hard money loan stops, so he stops bleeding. So me knowing this guy, strong motivation, he already know what rent to own is. I don't need to educate him on that. I just said it like, hey, this is what we do. We are expert in this niche. If you have time, tomorrow 1 p.m., let's have my senior partner on a phone. And while I'm saying it, I'm literally clicking on Rick's calendar, my coach calendar, to find his free time. And he said, yes. 24 hours later, we are on a call with Rick. 48 hours later, he sent me his mortgage statement. I'm ready with my AO doc. And another day, DocuSign, everything is signed. In less than 5 days, it's under contract.
Amazing. So Ruchit, what you're telling me is that there's there's sellers out there that are actively looking for creative financing deals, and while you're going through your prospecting, right? And I know there's a bunch of nuances that we just talked about as far as jargon, so I want to make sure we catch everyone up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at the property from a street view of the one that Ruchit has under agreement right now. So this particular seller was actively looking for, I'm willing to sell, I'm willing to rent, and I'm willing to rent to own.
That is correct.
So that conversation, my guess was that conversation was pretty easy to have. Can maybe walk us through, like, all right, so why was the seller actively selling again?
Yes, very easy. So he current price and the price he bought is, and you add closing cost into it, you add his fixing cost. Basically, he would lose money if he doesn't sell almost 6 figure above the market price. So he has incentive to wait longer to sell. So
Yeah.
creatively, he can make more money. At least if he can't do that, he would like to rent it out so he doesn't have to keep paying the monthly payment, right? Flippers want out of their monthly payment as soon as possible because they're losing their profit. So rent to own provides money upfront opportunity to come out of hard money lender scenario and pay for 30-year mortgage closing cost, right?
Yeah.
And then and higher price on the house. So traditional sale would not make sense for him at all.
Love that. I just want people to hear that, because if this is the first time you come across a creative financing real estate YouTube video, or if you've been watching these for every single month for the past, say 4 years for us, every single week for the past 4 years, there are active people out there looking for this type of solution. You just have to be willing to go find them. And so one of the ways in which we find prospects and people that we buy real estate from is to directly pick up the phone, give them a phone call. And if I'll make sure that this is in the notes as well in the description, and you can actually get a free trial with the company that Ruchit just talked about, which was myplusleads.com. So you can just go to smartrealestatecoach.com/myplusleads. Go ahead and grab it, which is going to give you access to for sale by owners, for rent by owners, expired listings. Really easy database to actually go ahead and find the seller's information, make the phone call, and now start working through this type of creative financing structure. So that's amazing. So we go ahead. It sounds like you then, because you're one of our associates, you're part of our community, you went ahead and you found your coach. Now, Rick isn't on here right now, but Rick was an engineer. He was a government contractor for 30 plus years and now retired by utilizing these strategies. And now he's helping people just like Ruchit go ahead and grab their deals. So you got this prospect. So you go ahead and you're like, hey, Rick, I need you to jump on the phone with me right now. We got to go through with the seller, make sure everything is lined up so we can go ahead and structure the deal. Is that accurate?
That is very accurate. Rick has a calendar on the Slack channel. I just clicked on it while I'm on a phone with the seller and said, Mr. Seller, by any chance, are you available for a quick call 1 p.m. tomorrow? Because I saw that in the Rick slot. He said yes, message Rick, schedule, gave a couple of minutes summary to Rick and done.
Love it. And what we utilize is Slack for our community. So all of our associates all across the country are located on this one platform. So people like Ruchit can go ahead and directly communicate with our coaches at any point in time to get them on the phone in order to structure these deals. Amazing. So looking at this property, right, I went ahead and pulled up Street View because this is a nice move-in ready home, right? This is a nice property in the Bay Area. I don't know necessarily where Patterson, California is, but I assume based upon looking around this neighborhood that it's a nice neighborhood. So then we go ahead and we structure this deal. Let's go ahead and jump back to the actual property itself. So as you can see, I mean, looking through the interior pictures, I mean, it's a great house. These are the types of properties that we are consistently in our community buying because they are perfect now for our rent to own program. And we work with buyers that need time in order to qualify for loans. Okay. So now we kind of have some background information. Let's dive into this deal. So this deal is actively on the market right now. So these are all projected numbers, right? So these are all projected numbers. This deal could be significantly better, or it could be, or the numbers might not line up. But this is what we expect based upon our 10 plus years of history in creative financing, this is what we expect with this type of structure. Let me walk through what this type of structure is first, and then we'll dive into the nuances here. So in a sign out deal, this is what we call this. It's called a sign out deal. Now, this deal is more or less like wholesaling a lease option. So the way in which this is structured, and we have many videos on assign out deals, please just go ahead and go through the deal structure Sundays and look for some additional ones as well. So on the assign out deal, what you're doing is you're going to go to a seller, you're going to agree upon a price. So in this circumstance, Ruchit went ahead and agreed upon $675. You're then going to agree upon a monthly payment for the seller. Okay, so you got both those locked in, and then you're going to agree upon a time frame that you have to be able to go market this property. Because we have an agreement with this seller, it gives us equitable interest in the property, which allows us to now go market this house to a tenant buyer. Now, once we have this tenant buyer in hand, instead of us going ahead and purchasing the property through one of our other structures, like a lease option, sub 2, or owner financing, we're going to simply put together the entire buyer's package, which is going to consist of the down payment, which is going to consist of the monthly rent payment, which is going to consist of background checks, mortgage readiness dates that are constructed by third-party companies. And then we're going to take that entire package. We're going to go to the seller. We're going to say to the seller, will you accept this buyer? If they accept this buyer, then we're going to go ahead and structure the formal lease purchase agreement with the buyer and simply assign this contract to the seller. Now, with that assignment, now we're going to look at what the actual numbers are with this deal. All right, now we covered all that. So, Ruchit, so we did cover, all right, you agreed upon $675. How did you, like, what was this property on the market for originally? Was it on the market originally? Walk us through that, and then let us know how you arrived at this price.
So traditionally, he wanted to sell for 700,000, which nobody would give him. He bought for 600,000 around 14 or 15 months ago.
Okay.
So it's highly, highly overpriced. And we have let him know that this might still be overpriced and he will have to be flexible in the future. And he said he's willing to take a hit on a monthly payment to get a money up front or money at the end, so he doesn't come out at loss in the overall deal. So, it's creative, it's flexible.
Sure, which is more of a psychological thing, right? Because if he actually takes a hit on the monthly payment, then some of the money that received up front is actually going to be sucked out, right? It's not actual profit, but he gets his price. Now, you must be wondering if this is the first time you watched one of our deal structure videos or first time being introduced to creative financing. How can we actually sell this property for higher than market value as well? And that is because our buyers need time in order to qualify for loans. So they're willing to pay a premium on the property because we're going to take the property off the market and work them to a rent to own program in order for them to now become homeowners. Okay, so you and Rick, you and your coach are talking and you're like, hey, we let the seller know we might have to come back and kind of renegotiate these numbers anyways. Because we still might think this thing's overpriced, but let's just take it to market and see if we can come across some buyers. Is that accurate?
Yes, absolutely. By giving some monthly payment, marketing lower than market rent. And many families, they don't want to move twice in 2 years, rent and then on. They have to move twice, right?
Yeah.
So that's people with kids sometimes are willing to bring more.
I mean, you may be one of the only houses that are willing to sell on rent to own in this particular area. So I would expect that should definitely drive up the market price. All right, walking through this now. So we got it at 675. It's under agreement. We're taking it to market for 609, right?
709. Yeah.
Yeah. So just over, or I'm sorry, 709. Ruchit, that's why we got you here. You know how much money you're making. The deposit from the buyer, we're using 10%. That's it's very common to have 3 to 10% up front of the higher purchase price, and then sometimes up to 20% over time. Because what we're doing is we're setting up our buyers for success. And with this agreement with the seller, the understanding is you're going to have a 50-50 split on the profit, anything above what you agreed upon.
Yes, that is correct.
So we marked it up 34,000. So projected is for you to make $17,000.
Yes, just to assign a buyer. Yeah.
Just to find a buyer. Very good. This is so no money out of pocket for you, very little liability, if any, right? I don't want to say no liability because some people will message me on YouTube and say there's some liability, minimal liability. And you win, the seller wins, right? The seller gets his price, part of a non-refundable deposit, potentially cash flow. And he basically gets to save himself from having a really bad deal. And because like what is his alternative options? He's going to take a loss, right? So you're a huge lifesaver right now for this gentleman.
He has a 2 bad flips right now. So money up front here, he will use to save another deal.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
Well, amazing job, first and foremost. That's awesome. First deal that you've done so far with creative financing. So absolutely amazing, right? But I think what's important for if there's any takeaways in that is there are people out there right now that need your help, right? They need creative financing techniques right now. This seller is getting stuck in 2 bad flips. But I bet you when you first bought those, when the market was in a different scenario 14 months ago, they looked like good flips.
Yes.
So it's not like he's a terrible investor, right? This flipper, he's getting caught in a market transition. And now here you come, Ruchit, with your Superman cape on, helping him out. Go ahead. Yeah, see, he's got it underneath his jacket, helping him out. Absolutely amazing, man. First deal. How much different of a mindset does it feel for you now when you make a phone call to a seller, potential prospect to buy their house? Now that you have a property under agreement that you're actively marketing.
So any confirmation adds to your confidence for sure, right? When you're jumping into unknown, you have to fake to look confident. And when you have information, that's a different story. But I will say this. 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 2,000 people might be like this. And from outside perspective, it can look like luck to find this person. From inside perspective, it takes a couple thousand people before you find this person, right? So I really don't know how to look at when I look at the deal, I'm like, I didn't do anything. 5 days, I got the deal under contract, These people are here to help me. But whole year, that's a lot of work. So I really don't know how to look at it.
Yeah, I could agree with you more. This is the first of many, right? First of many right now. You've learned a heck of a lot of lessons throughout this process, but now that you're starting to fine tune it, I see more and more real estate deals in your future. Any final, like if somebody's watching this video right now and is like, all right, Ruchit, like what would be like the number one thing that I should take action on right now? Or what's the number one thing that now that you wish you knew back then? You tell that to people on this video, and then we'll jump shop.
Yes, absolutely. So I'll break down into 2 ways. One for the people in the community who know us, and I will say, man, all the coaches is unbelievable. For every question, they have exactly same answer. They all have same mindset, no matter to who you go. So they all are on a exactly same thought process, and they always say, when people ask them complicated questions, they are like, what's the motivation? If that's not strong enough, most of the questions doesn't matter. And here, I didn't have to do anything. You know what I'm saying? With this seller, it was like just very small phone call, another small phone call with coach, and 3 days later he signed. Very simple. But many other people, I'm just rotating the same wheel again and again, too complicated. It doesn't go anywhere even after 6 months. So I've heard coaches saying 1,000 times about motivation, and I guess it's just go to the next phone call, find the right motivation.
That's right. We're looking for the right people that we can help, and then moving on to the next and put them in our follow-up system. If you're listening to this and you want to be just like Ruchit, go ahead and get your first creative financing real estate deal. You're in a position right now where you've done everything right, just like Ruchit did, move into the engineer space, did exactly what his parents told him, but hey, he's interested in a different lifestyle. If that's you, let's help you get your first real estate deals done. I want to make sure that you have a free action item that you can go ahead and take advantage of right now. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the link in the description as well. Go get our first Amazon best-selling book, Real Estate on Your Terms, for absolutely free. I'm going to dive into all of these different creative financing techniques so you can really help place yourself in this particular business. Go to wickedsmartbooks.com/YouTube. That's wickedsmartbooks.com/YouTube. Ruchit, it's been an absolute pleasure. Look forward to seeing you on a Deal Structure Sunday again here in the near future. Everybody have an awesome rest of your day, make it an awesome Sunday, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks so much, Zach. Sorry I got kicked out from the room, but yes, thank you.